Yes, yes. Here we are once again. As you can see, if you're looking the video version of the show, whether live or on video on demand later, it is the premiere of season 22. If you can believe that. They said it wouldn't last, but here we are all these years later. It is quite awesome. Of course, it is the High Noon Hemp Show. That means it's noon Eastern time on a Wednesday. And what are you doing at noon Eastern time on a Wednesday? Well, of course, you're watching us on many places. You can watch us on Facebook, the Temptations Beach Facebook page, also the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel. And if you're over on the X/Twitter, whatever it is you call it, at Temptations, there as well. I am Stoner Jesus. I do various things on the interwebs that you can search if you feel like it. He is Beach. He is high above the Hemptations in Sharonville, Ohio, at the Hemp Quarters. Beach. It's a new month. It's a new season. How are things this week in the world of Hemptations?
They're setting off the alarms. I can hear them. The High Noon Hemp Show
Well, here,
season
yeah, here,
what
here, yeah.
23 or something? 2023, is
22.
that right? Or 22, season 22. The
Yep.
alarms are going off in the city. If you're not watching now, then you're not paying attention. But if you're watching later, that's okay. It doesn't matter to me.
That's right.
I don't care. As long as you're watching at some point or another, that's all we care about here at the High Noon Hemp Show. Actually, all we care about here at the High Noon Hemp Show is hemp.
That's right.
What you do with all that, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So remember, folks, the FDA has not evaluated the show for safety or efficacy. And let's go ahead and read our pledge. Let's do it. Because
Indeed.
let's get it up there. I pledge allegiance to the hemp fields of America and to the soil in which it's planted. One seed under the sun with responsibility, sustainability, and thrivability for all. That's right. That is correct. All right, let's just go ahead and jump into the product spotlight. The first one here are a couple no bad ideas hats. These are great rain or summer hats, sun and rain. Really, I feel like it's been super rainy here last couple days.
Yeah.
The big storms never really hit here, but they did hit close yesterday. They were calling off schools and all kinds of crazy stuff around here
Yeah.
due to the storms. Something that's never happened before that I ever knew about, and I keep telling everybody, there's an extra bunch of snow days when they're calling off for possible thunderstorms.
Yeah.
And it's because I don't think that the schools had any snow days around in this area this winter, to be honest with you. We only had like 3 weeks of winter
Yeah.
in January. And so, these good. They got the strap underneath. So if the weather does get crazy, it can hold it on, or maybe you're out on the boat, and you want to keep the sun off your head and your neck and all those things. So again, these two hats are located at the Sharonville location, with a bonus Satori Movement t-shirt in the picture there. That's an extra on the product spotlight. But how about some hemp honey soaps? This is some good stuff made in many different scents, so to speak, and made locally in Dayton. And so, you can always use soap. Soap is still relevant. I hope everybody's still washing their hands as much as they were before, because it's still a great way to keep all the other stuff, colds and flus and all that stuff, from spreading quicker, as we've known for like 100 years. They figured that out like 100 years ago, that clean hands help contain the spread of all kinds of good stuff. So get yourself some locally made hemp soap to keep your hands and face warm, or your whole body if you want to take it in the shower with you, one way or another. How about some Forever Faded jeans? I don't know if I have ever shown these before, to be honest with you. Now, these again are in Sharonville. I don't know what sizes they have, but we definitely have a couple pairs of each, the light ones and the dark ones, one way or another. I feel like I have a pair of these. I need to find them and wear them on the show, and show them off. And so I'll have to, maybe next week, if I remember next week. I think I still have 1 week before the 420 episode, which is will actually be on 4/17, and
Yes.
I already have my pants picked out, never seen before. In 2 weeks, you really want to tune in because never seen before on the What Are You Wearing Beach are the pants that I'm going to wear. Next week, maybe I will try to wear the pair of Forever Faded that I have and show those off on the What Are You Wearing Beach segment, which is coming up here in just a minute.
Indeed.
Showing off a brand new T-shirt da, 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 that I have made for the show, about the show, of the show. And the last one, and I talked about these a lot, and I love to show these. These are the Planet Everywhere, made right here in the Planet Everywhere manufacturing, what we call the no stress workshop. Uh, uh, um, but anyway, reusable coffee filter. I've been using the same coffee filter for years and years and years and years and years and years. I mean, maybe 10 years. This is the one that I have, and I have a couple that I switch in and out. One way or another. If I clean one, then I put my other one in. But literally been using the same coffee filter every day for I don't know how long. I mean, I can honestly say, probably without a doubt, barring some days I didn't make coffee, that I've been using the same coffee filter to make over 3,000 cups of coffee. That's 3,000 paper filters, at least, that I have not used in the lifetime of one hemp coffee filter. Reusable, wash, rinse, um, and move on. It's totally groovy, great stuff. So there you have it. There's the 4 from my door, and I'm sorry, the 4 from the store. Now the one from my door. This is my towel. Okay, big fan of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, so I carry a towel with me everywhere you go. If you don't know, that's a big theme to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, is to have your towel. Mine is clearly marked, so no one can walk off with it and think it's theirs. Although I suppose they could say, "That's my towel," and I take it to the beach.
That's right.
And I got it at Temptations, but this is custom made too, as well, personally for me here at the Planet manufacturing establishment. And so there you have it from my door, my towel that I carry with me. It's in my backpack when I take my backpack out everywhere that I go, because you have to have a towel everywhere you go when you're traveling the universe. It's a rule. It's a rule. So
Right.
there you have it on the product spotlight here on the High Noon Hemp Show. 4 from my door. No, 4. I mean, why do you keep messing that up today? I've only done this 252 times, and today I can't seem to get it right. 4 from the store, 1 from my door. Sometimes more. Um,
Indeed.
so there you have it.
Which, of course, brings us to the segment where most of you, well, maybe not most of you, but a lot of you, that's why you come here. I mean, there's the hemp news and the entertainment and the infotainment, if you will, but you really, above all else, want to see what Beach is wearing. And every single episode, at a certain point in the show, I ask Beach just that. And as Beach mentioned, a very special shirt today that you're going to want to see. So enough of the cliffhangers, enough of the build-up. Without further ado, the beachwear segment. What are you wearing, Beach?
It's true. If you're curious, what are you wearing, Beach? Today's green. I love my green. This may be the first time that I've actually worn this hat on the show, because I kind of forget about my bucket hats, I've got a Hempy's bucket hat, but the bucket hats are made for rain. Again, these are like perfect rain hats. And so I'll be busting these out in the spring on the show. I'm sure I have multiple bucket hats, maybe even start busting out my fedoras, which I have very rarely shown. I need to get these hats on there. I have a immense hat collection, including the record-breaking 168 different hemp hats worn consecutively.
Right.
Um, But I don't wear the fedoras or the bucket hats a lot. It's usually a ball cap. I've worn a hat like every day of my life for 40 years. I'm thinking, um, and so that's a Hempy's bucket hat on top there. My zip up hoodie is a Satori. The T-shirt. If we look at it closely on that T-shirt there, you will see that says High Noon Hemp Show. This is the very first High Noon Hemp Show T-shirt that I have ever made. Um, and so I put on the back there Jedi Hemp. So the back says Jedi Hemp. If you don't know, the YouTube channel is the Jedi Hemp channel. You can go there anytime and watch the High Noon Hemp Show. Any of the past High Noon Hemp shows, all 252 of them. This is 253 today. And so go check those out if you wish. My jeans are my favorite jeans. I don't know how many pairs of the Kentucky Hemp Outfitter jeans, and these are the Carpenter's edition. They have the little loop on one side for the hammer, and you can see the pocket underneath my Green Springs Technology pen there, which is meant to hold your nails and whatever else. Being held up by a Hempy's belt. And then underneath it all is a pair of Satori briefs. And then my socks are also Satori. Satori's getting a big play today. Go shout out to Satori. They make unbelievably great hemp stuff one way or another. And in fact, I can't believe it, but I think they've released a new, I'm going to have to find them again. But I do believe the company itself possibly released a new skateboard wheel, and they were making skateboard wheels. I think it was under a different name. And I saw a picture of it, and I can't believe I didn't save it, or maybe I did and I forgot to put it on the show today. Either way. And then my shoes are the Wicked Hemp boots. And I keep forgetting to go to the Wicked Hemp website because I know that they were supposed to release a new line of hemp boots sometime soon, but I haven't checked to see. So if you're looking for some boots, go check out Wicked Hemp boots and see if they've released their new line of hemp boots. So there you have it. If you woke up this morning and you were like, "What are you wearing, Beach?" Now you know. All right. Well, here's a little. Speaking of 420, every year, of course, we have the 420 to Earth Day sale. This is, we started. We may have been the first in the whole entire world to have an Earth or a 420 to Earth Day sale / celebration. Of course, because of that, and I don't mention that in this commercial, but because of that, I call 421 the day in between 420 and Earth Day. I call that Hemptations Day because we're both 420. We're plenty of 420 stuff, and of course, we have the largest selection of hemp on the planet, which is the greatest earth-friendly product on the entire world. In the entire world, you cannot get any better of an earth-friendly product, no matter what you're making out of hemp. No matter what you're making out of hemp, it is the most earth-friendly version and a plant that you can grow and manufacture and process and all those good things. So here's a little commercial, and then we'll be back with the news.
Hemptations 420 to Earth Day sale is upon us. Everything store-wide for 20% off and maybe higher. Enjoy the annual 420 to Earth Day 422 sale so you can enjoy you and the planet. Hemptations carries the largest selection of hemp goods on the planet because it's so good for the planet. Either way, get to either one of the Hemptations locations and get everything for 20% off between 420 and 422. Having Hemptations?
There you go.
And of course, just for reference there, we still obviously have the Sharonville store, but we have moved the O'Brienville store and consolidated all of that to North Side. So if you're in the area and you're going to come, don't go to O'Brienville, even though I was just past the O'Brienville store. And they have done nothing. They have done nothing since they kind of pushed us out to the location. We could still be there for that matter. I don't know. But the billboard is still up. And so I actually still have basically a free billboard going down Madison Road. It doesn't look that great because it's actually the original billboard, which eventually we covered up with a really fancy vinyl billboard. But still there. You can still see it says Hemptations. So maybe hopefully, people see it and Google it and then go over to Northside and check that store out one way or another. So I know I don't know how long it's been ago that I talked about a motorcycle being made over in Australia that was the body is whatnot being made out of hemp. But here's a new one. I believe these are being made here in the States. Possibly, I'm not positive, but this is Mulholland is the name of these bikes, and they're doing the fenders. So that rear fender and that front wheel fender are made out of hemp composite. This has to help, in many ways, make the bike more earth friendly, but also lighter. And so, hemp composite is lighter than metal. If they were using metal or have used metal in the past, or even fiberglass. If it was a fiberglass fenders, the hemp composite would be lighter than that. For reference to that, again, and I've said it before, BMW has dropped the body weight of their electric vehicles by using hemp composite in the door frames, replacing fiberglass in the doors, making the vehicles lighter and earth friendly, and it's just as strong. So there you go. If you're looking for a new motorcycle and you want it to be partly hemp, then check out Mulholland. See if you can get one of those. This is a nice looking bike. Honestly, I like it. There's not much to it, which I don't. Motorcycle doesn't have to have much to it, and the more hemp, the merrier, as I like to say. Okay, so as we know, this is the year of the attack of intoxicating hemp. I keep saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it. Nebraska. I don't know what they're thinking, but they approved a 100% tax on CBD and hemp. 100% tax on hemp and CBD, which is it's insane. And what I really want to know is that like a pair of jeans? Is that a pair of hemp jeans? Because that's basically how it was stated, is that it was CBD, 100% tax on CBD and hemp. So are they now taxing clothing 100% if it's made out of hemp? And even if they're taxing, to be honest with you, that is truly cruel to CBD users. The people that rely on CBD on a daily basis to help them. And we have hundreds, if not thousands, of customers right here in Cincinnati that rely on CBD on a daily basis because it does for them what they want it to do. In Nebraska, they're now going to be taxed 100%. That's going to double the price of any product, supposedly. And CBD for sure. And I don't know about the hemp thing. I can't imagine like a hemp store that sells hats or shoes or clothing or paper products or hemp composite or any of the other products that we sell that are made out of hemp, being able to sell. It's already kind of expensive. Hemp clothing is a little bit more expensive. All these things are a little bit more expensive. And to put 100% tax on it is simply ridiculous. I hope that the people of Nebraska revolt over this tax because, again, this is way too much. They call them sin taxes, okay? And there is zero sin. Not that there's any sin related to any cannabis use, in my opinion, but there is zero sin related to the use of CBD. This CBD only helps people. It's not intoxicating. You do not get high off of it. It is not unsafe. They've proven 100% that driving under the influence of CBD causes no effects. And to tax your citizens in your state 100% it's ludicrous. It's honestly ludicrous. Where is he popping up? No. I hope Ludacris writes a song about how ludicrous a 100% tax on anything is. That is, in my opinion, that's unconstitutional. It is definitely anti-capitalism or anti-consumerism, whichever one you want to call it. More anti-consumerism than capitalism. It's and it might be pro-capitalism. I don't know. It's the government just seriously taxing the people on a product that shouldn't be taxed any more than any other product in the state. Period. Period. Let's see. Let's move on to Iowa. Okay, so now Iowa is going to limit the amount they're trying to. They're working on a bill right now that will limit the amount of THC total in the package. This is something that Florida just did, and so we'll see what happens there. But they're going to add limits to the total. So it's like they're going to limit how much THC can be in an individual product, and then they're going to limit how much can be in the entire package. And then they're going to add, and again, it may be reasonable. It's hard to believe that Iowa is more reasonable than Nebraska, but it's only going to be a 2.5% sin tax, and it's just going to be on consumable hemp products. So they're smart enough to know that if they add this 2.5% sin tax to hemp, that apparently it would carry over to clothing and hats and plastic and all the other things we can make out of hemp. But they're clearly putting in there that it is only consumable hemp products. And so, that's the CBD or any of the other consumable hemp products that you have out there, one way or another. So Missouri, which just had some controversy one way or another, they're looking, and this is something I think that's trying to get through as well. So if you're in Missouri, call your local representative and tell them that this is ridiculous one way or another. But a new term, not intoxicating hemp. They're not going to try to ban intoxicating hemp. They're going to try to ban conversion hemp. Okay? Now, that's the D8, that's the D10, that's the HHC. Anything that is made synthetically. And I know, once again, I've said this before, synthetic has a negative connotation. But the fact of the matter is all of these conversion hemp products are made out of hemp. They just take one part of hemp and they make it into another. And so it's not like they're making Delta 8 out of petrochemicals. Okay, most people think even when I think of synthetic, it's taken me 6 months, honestly, or a year to get the negative connotation of synthetic out of my brain, because really the definition of synthetic is taking one thing and turning it into something else. Okay, and it's not always bad. It's not always bad. To me, it has a negative connotation because in my head, I always think petrochemicals made into clothing and soap and lotion and all of these other things. But synthetic doesn't always mean bad because, once again, the conversion hemp products are just taking one hemp component and making it into a different component of hemp that just isn't large. Like, so the Delta 8 is a natural component of hemp or cannabis, but it's in very small amounts. Okay, so to make bigger amounts, because it helps people as well, they convert it synthetically into Delta 8 or Delta 10 or HHC or any of those things. And the HHC is, that conversion is no different than, say, hydrogenated butter. It's because that's what they're doing. They're actually, instead of making it tetrahydrocannabinol, it's actually hydrogenated hydrocannabinol. Okay, and so, and of course, hydrogenated has kind of a not good connotation either, but it might not actually be that bad, one way or another. So, okay, the Arizona, just out of the blue, the Arizona Attorney General has said that D8 and D10 are not legal in the state, claiming the consumption of hemp is not legal. The consumption of hemp is not legal in the state of Arizona. Now, the caveat to that is that they did say other than hemp seed oil or hemp seed. Okay, those are the exclusions. So they were at least smart enough to know that if they're really going to try to ban hemp, they can't ban hemp foods. It's in every grocery store. That would be ridiculous. The thing that's interesting is there's really no legal precedence for saying that D8 and D10 are not legal. And if they're claiming that the consumption of hemp is illegal in Arizona, then guess what? CBD is illegal in Arizona. CBG is illegal in Arizona. CBN is illegal in Arizona. If this is true, and it's not true, and I don't know why the Attorney General is coming out and saying this, and this is going to cause havoc across the state. All the little cop shops around the state, all they want to hear is that consumption of hemp is illegal, and they're going to go bust every CBD store in the state. And so, once again, they're initially talking about D8 and D10 because those are consumable, but the Attorney General actually said that the consumption of hemp is not legal other than actual seed oil or seed in the state, which makes, again, all of those CBD, all of those byproducts of the flower illegal, no matter what it is. If D8 and D10 are, and that's the consumption of hemp rule, so to speak, or law, then that makes all CBD illegal in the state of Arizona. So we'll see where this statement goes. It's going to get challenged. I definitely, the reality of this statement, for whatever reason, and you think honestly that the Attorney General should know better, but they don't. And sometimes they say things that aren't actually true because they believe this Attorney General obviously believes that that's the law. But if that is the law, it's going to shut down, $1 million industry in the state of Arizona. They won't be growing consumable hemp in Arizona anymore. Or if they do, then it's all going to have to be shipped to another state. And then again, if it's not legal to have consumption hemp, so to speak, then how can you grow it for consumption? But it's going to take it off the shelves, CBD off the shelves everywhere. And again, according to the statement, that's a huge, unbelievably, once again, ludicrous idea to say that the consumption of hemp is illegal in any state. There is no other state that's ever said that. And unless it was before they maybe legalized hemp, which I don't really think they did, because all states really had to do was legalize the farming of hemp in their state, not the selling of CBD or any hemp-derived products. That was really under the federal law. What they have to do is write a law banning or making it illegal to sell products made out of hemp. The only thing the states had to do once they passed the Agricultural Act and the original Farm Bill was approve or legalize the growing of industrial hemp, which I believe almost every state has done at this point. I think there's only maybe a couple states in the entire country, if any. I think Alaska might have been one weird one or something. I don't know. Maybe even Hawaii, who's working on their industrial hemp farming laws right now. There's only a handful of states, period, that you cannot grow industrial hemp in their state. Even South Dakota allows hemp now. And so if South Dakota allows it, then, geez, everybody should. Come on. They're like the biggest haters of cannabis in the world. Their governor is like so cannabis ignorant. She doesn't even begin to touch the scales of intelligence when it comes to hemp, which is, again, these people are supposed to be smart. All you got to do is a little bit of research. I mean, I might be doing 30 years of research, but I can tell you this, you can sit down in a couple hours and learn the difference between hemp and what they call marijuana when it comes to cannabis, and what you can do with it legally or not legally. So it really just is ignorance And Georgia, and of course there was some controversy in Georgia because some shops got busted for selling Delta 8. It got challenged, and they got out of it and said no, Delta 8's completely legal in the state. Blah blah blah. Well, now what the Georgia's going to do because of this Delta 8 thing, they're going to put age limits on CBD and Delta 8, and I believe the age limits on intoxicating hemp, which is the key word of 2024. We'll probably be seeing more of the term consumable hemp because basically what that's going to turn into is consumable intoxicating hemp, so they can cover the gamut, I suppose. But the age restrictions are going to be on CBD. Once again, ridiculous idea. Ridiculous idea. Okay? There should be no age restrictions on CBD. None. Okay? It is safe for almost every age. I honestly believe that. Once again, the only FDA approved CBD drug is for kids. So why are we now saying you have to be a certain age to purchase this? Okay. Yeah, Georgia, that's just again, you're setting the industry and you're hurting the people, the humans that rely on this once again to help them get through. And anxiety and stress is huge amongst teenagers right now. The rate of suicide in teens has increased exponentially over the years. Okay? And now you're taking something that could possibly help them in their daily lives. And you're saying, nope, you got to be a certain age. And I don't know what that age is. And if it's 21, it's super ridiculous. If it's 18, it's minorly ridiculous. But the whole thing is ridiculous. Okay? Now, and I've said this, and I'm okay with age restrictions on intoxicating hemp, maybe. Maybe we do like to card. You have to be 18, and we don't have to. Just so you know, in the state of Ohio, and they're working on age restrictions for intoxicating hemp stuff. But right now, we don't even have to card. We can sell. I could sell it. We could sell it to a teenager, or if we really wanted to. We don't, because once again, we know that this has effects. All right, Delta 8, you feel it. There are side effects related to it, and so doing the right thing is what we try to do. We carded for nicotine vapes before there was a law saying you even had to do that, just because it was the right thing to do. We didn't have to, but we did. And it's the same with the intoxicant. I don't have a problem. The only problem I have is it should be 18, not 21. If you're an adult at 18, then you should be able to make adult decisions at 18, not at the age of 21, which really, to me, is like the most ridiculous aspect of any 21 law, really. Again, the government says you're an adult at 18, so you should be able to do adult behavior at the age of 18, no matter what it is. But somehow in the United States, you're an adult at 18, but you're not really mature enough until you're 21 to make adult decisions. That's, once again, it's hypocritical. It's hypocritical for the government to say at 18 you're responsible for your own actions. You can join the military. You can do all these adult things. So you're classified as an adult. But when it comes to drinking or cannabis or hemp or any of that, you got to be 21 to actually do it legally. Which once again is it's not fair. It's not. If anything else, it's just not fair. The only argument to the cannabis laws is the fact that there are some studies out there that have shown that early cannabis use may cause issues, one way or another. I'd like to see more legitimate medical studies on that. Sure. I mean, even though if you're going to do it, you're going to do it. No, I don't believe 16-year-olds should be getting drunk. I don't believe 16-year-olds need to be, I mean, I would say that if there was anything that's better uh, and for them overall, it might be cannabis use. But I'm not encouraging or believe that, teenagers need that. I get it. We should grow up a little bit before we make adult decisions and consuming things that affect possibly our brain as it's developing. Um, you know, that makes kind of sense. I'm in agreement with that. I'm not promoting the willy nilly use of anything when you're a teenager and your body is still developing. I wish there was like, I don't know, maybe a test to prove like, okay, you're fully developed. Now you can do whatever you want. Like you go to the doctor and the doctor says, yeah, your brain's fully developed, your body's fully developed. So if you want to start destroying it with alcohol or tobacco and those things, and go ahead. Or if you want to enjoy or use cannabis medically, and again, I think that if medical cannabis can help an underage person, then they should be allowed access to it. Now, I'm not saying that's over the counter. That's something. But the parents can still, in the state of Ohio, the parents can, if the parents buy the product for the child is legally allowed to use it. And that's alcohol, tobacco, cannabis, whatever it may be. The law in Ohio says that that a parent has the right to purchase products that are meant for overage people and give it to their child under their supervision. And so, that being said, maybe I once again I agree with that because if a parent believes that their child needs that and they want to give it to them, then they should have that right to allow their child to use that no matter what it is. So, all right, there's four more states, I should say, that are working on intoxicating hemp stuff. There probably won't be a state that I don't mention this year. And I have to go back and look maybe as the other states that I have mentioned and see where we're at. But it does seem like almost every state at some point or another is going to try to do something attack intoxicating hemp in one way or another. So, I love my best of lists. Normally there's always like, well, it's the best of jeans or best of sunscreen or whatever, because there's always almost normally a hemp product included in the list. I really think that there's a pro hemp person that makes these lists, and they at least try to get one in. Well, the newest one that I've seen is the 8 best hemp sheets. So all 8 of these, and I think I have mentioned some of these before. This might be part of another one. But the best overall was Tuft and Needle. They made the best overall hemp sheets according to this list. The best budget is Everlane, which you can go on, or Everly, I'm sorry, Everly, which you can find on Amazon. So if you're looking for sheets, just go to Amazon and put in hemp sheets and see what pops up there. The best splurge is the Delilah. They're a little expensive, but if you want to spend the money for them. The best cooling is called the Casaluna washed, and those are available at Target. And so if you're looking for some cooling sheets, more on cooling sheets in a minute, actually. And then the best cotton blend, and I'm sure this helps keep the price down, is actually Land's End. We all know about that company, and they're called Garment Washed for some reason. So it's a cotton hemp blend at Land's End called the Garment Washed sheet set. Best durable. You can find the best durable hemp sheets apparently at Crate and Barrel. A lot of big name box stores getting in on the old hemp material game, which I love. I love. You should be able to walk in anywhere that sells sheets or bedding, and they should offer you at least one hemp selection to choose from. It's true. Um, Now, the best bamboo blend is a company called Attitude. And what's interesting about this is even though on this list the best cooling was Casaluna, I also found the Attitude linen on the best cooling sheets list. So they were on the best cooling sheets list, and they were the only hemp sheets. Now, as a disclaimer, the Attitude linen is actually like 70% bamboo, 30% hemp. And so, you know, still a hemp product. I like to see at least a 50%, really get it up there. But, bamboo is uh, environmentally good because it grows so fast. But after doing some research, I have found that the processing of bamboo fiber into material is not environmentally friendly. So there's an offset there. You often see bamboo touted as sustainable and earth friendly because once again it grows so fast, so big um, that you can get the biomass really quickly, which is good. But from my understanding, once again, to process it into the material is not the best, not the best. Um, and then the best organic is avocado green mattress. And you can go to avocadogreenmattress.com that offers organic hemp sheets. And again, that even though there was probably no chance that there were herbicides or pesticides used on the other hemp made from material, because you don't need to. You don't need to use any herbicides or pesticides when you're growing for the fiber. Okay? Organic is a soil rating. So if you call yourself organic, you have to grow whatever it is you're calling organic in organic soil. Okay? Now, even though there's no chemicals needed to grow the other stuff, you can't call it organic, even though it basically is, because you haven't used any chemicals on it, because again, that's a soil thing. I don't know why they don't use the term natural more, because natural is just like 70% natural, no chemicals, but then there's the 30% under the definition of natural, where you can have an allowable amount of herbicides or pesticides or chemicals or whatever. And so, that's the difference in something that's labeled as organic, okay, and something that's labeled as natural. Natural, you can still have bad stuff in the production or growing of natural products. And so, be careful there, I suppose. But sleeping in organic sheets, and again, what you really want to do is make sure that your cotton sheets are organic, because cotton uses more herbicides and pesticides than any other agricultural crop on the planet, the entire planet, over 30%. Okay, so you really want organic when it comes to the clothing you're wearing every day or the sheets you're sleeping in. I mean, thinking of all the chemicals and the residue and stuff that may be on there is just ridiculous. Just, completely ridiculous, honestly. So a travel writer, she basically is, she travels, and she's a travel writer. She travels a lot. An article about, maintaining your health when you're traveling. From, the number one thing she said was hydrating, more or less. But she did say that she uses CBD instead of sleeping pills when she flies, because it works, and because she said the sleeping pills actually dehydrate you. So being hydrated is a big part of that, one way or another. And so using CBD, she did warn that you have to be careful, because you do. Now, you can fly just about anywhere in the United States with CBD with that little bit of THC in it. But she did mention that if you are traveling internationally, then you should get a product that is just CBD isolate, no THC, nothing else, just CBD. Um, and and I would still check. I would still check
Yeah.
the laws of where you're traveling to. As we know, uh, Brittany Griner was locked up for a long time in Russia for having CBD. There's a gentleman in Abu Dhabi or one of those rich Middle Eastern towns that's serving like 8 years. He's a football coach, and he's serving like 8 years in their prison for having CBD on him when he. And so, you definitely want to check. I think most of Europe is pretty friendly. Honestly, most of Europe has legalized or accepted CBD, so it's not as bad. Um, and the only advice I can give you there is if you're going to travel with it, then do a good job of hiding it. Because the dog's not going to pick it up. It's not going to the drug sniffing dog is not going to pick up your CBD tincture or your CBD gummies or whatever. I would almost suggest, and again, not saying you're breaking the law, putting it in something that's nondescript. Taking your gummies out of the package that say CBD gummies and just putting them in a Ziploc bag and just saying, hey, these are just gummies, man. These are gummies these are my vitamin gummies or whatever. Um, and going from there when traveling internationally. And once again, just check into those international laws. As we also know that if you're going out on a cruise, be very careful. We've seen people get banned from cruises for having CBD on them, which again, 100% ridiculous, just ridiculous. And it's just ignorance. It's a policy that says there's no cannabis acceptable, therefore CBD is not acceptable. One way or another. It'd be interesting to see if you could get banned from one of these cruises from wearing hemp clothing. Is that like part of the cannabis policy? If CBD is not legal because it's a cannabis product, is hemp clothing legal because it's a cannabis product? I don't know, but definitely check with your cruise line before you travel, and then once again, pack appropriately so that it's something that they may not discover or know what it is when they do find it. Um, and then be prepared to tell them that it's not what it is and walk away. Because, in all honesty, they don't have a right to keep you from using CBD. Nobody should have a right to keep anyone from using CBD. Again, it's pretty much been proven that it's safe. It is not intoxicating, so it doesn't get you high. There's no euphoric value to CBD. The only value is the therapeutic value that it provides thousands, if not, well, millions of people in the United States. Millions of people in the United States use CBD. Okay? And once again, so far, there has been no proof that it causes any harm to humans, and that it only helps humans one way or another. An article titled Hempcrete versus Concrete. Okay. Benefits of hemp. It's carbon negative, which I've said before. It requires no fossil fuels, and it can be recycled. Hempcrete can be recycled. It is an excellent insulator with thermal conductivity significantly lower than concrete. It's breathable, reducing mold and dampness, and of course, it is antimicrobial, antibacterial to begin with. It is versatile and flexible, and so it can be poured or sprayed to just about any molded shape that you want. Again, cannot be used, and I'll get a little more into this, cannot be used for load bearing, but that's it. Um, it is lightweight, so it exerts less pressure on any foundation when you're using it, and it is so makes it ideal for retrofitting older buildings. And again, I do believe the law in France is if you are going to replace or redo or use any type of, you can't use concrete. You have to use hempcrete in any old buildings or or whatnot. And so, and again, they're pretty key to what they've been in the hempcrete business since the 90s over in France without batting an eye at it, not even thinking twice about building big buildings out of it, making sure that 100-year-old, 1,000-year-old dwellings, if they need to be redone, they use hempcrete to do it. And then, of course, it is non-toxic, like I said, and it does not release any fumes or particles. And then the last thing is it is also fire retardant, or I'm sorry, fire resistant. And so once again, I've talked about the video on YouTube. It's got millions of hits, but it's like an 8-hour long video of fire being thrown onto like 2 inches or an inch from a big hempcrete slab, and in those 8 hours, never catches flame. The only thing it does is discolor the hempcrete, and so safety purposes alone make it quite beneficial. The only advantage that concrete really has over it is that concrete is 80% stronger. And again, that's the issue with the load bearing. Okay. I saw a huge range in the strength of hempcrete, which I really didn't understand. But, the fact of the matter is the concrete has been proven to be much stronger one way or another. Of course, there was a university that I mentioned on the show before that has come up with a load-bearing recipe for hempcrete. And so once they get that all worked out, then there will be no questions as to what you can and can't do with hempcrete. Right now, it's mainly used as an insulator, sprayed into the walls, sprayed into the roof, and whatnot. And so, and I think, and I'm not positive, I have seen. I don't know if I've actually seen floors. I swear I saw some stuff one time where they actually did the floors of something out of hempcrete, which I would think, I don't know, I would think a floor is the load bearing, one of the load bearing parts. But maybe that's just the frame of the house itself that needs to be that strong. And then, of course, the cost. And yes, here's that supply and demand issue. Okay. If supply is low and demand is high, cost is high. Okay. If supply is high and demand is high, well, cost is still low. And that's, the concrete companies have been doing this for a long time, and they, endlessly mining the sand all over the world to make concrete, which is obviously an issue because we're running out of concrete sand to begin with. But the cost is still a lot lower than hempcrete. And again, it's because of the materials themselves. We need to grow more hemp to get that hurd, or the shiv, as we call it, which are the little chips of the stalk, basically, that we make the hempcrete with, or that we use for animal bedding. We just need to, we're increasing the amount out there exponentially. And until we can make enough of that to replace all the sand that concrete uses now, then the cost is probably going to be a little bit more expensive. And so, again, if we keep demanding hempcrete, then we'll get more hemp, and the cost will continue to go down. That's the only direction of, to me, like 95 to 99% of all the hemp products that are available out there are going to be reduced in price over the next 5 to 10 years, because we just continuously are growing more for the fiber, we're growing more for the grain, for the hemp food, and again, hemp seed is somewhat consumable. Hemp seed to eat is exponentially expensive right now too, because once again, demand is so high, but supply is still low. Canada, which is the largest producer of grain in the entire world, is having a tough time actually keeping up with the demand in the United States. You would think after 5 years of having it 100% legal, and almost 10 years, actually, this is the 10th year that industrial hemp has been legal in the United States, that we would be growing more. But unfortunately, everybody's making their money still on CBD. And so there's not as much of a demand to grow by the farmers. And as I've said hundreds of times on the show, if it is not if you're a farmer and you can't grow hemp, grain or fiber for sure, as simply as you can corn or soy or cotton, then you're not going to grow it. If you got to pay in Ohio $1,000 licensing fee to grow grain, no farmer wants to do that. Okay, that is, again, it's that criminal aspect. Like, you're doing something wrong, so we're going to make you pay for it. And then you got to have your crop tested. If you're growing for seed or fiber, at the end of the year, you still have to have that flour tested to make sure that it comes in under that 0.3%, which again is ridiculous. Ridiculous. There is zero THC in the seed. There is zero THC in the fiber. There's zero THC in that herd to make hempcrete. And so all the THC is going to be in the flour. And so it's really a moot point if you're growing to make material out of, or you're growing to make hempcrete out of, or any of those stock-related products, to have testing on them. And there is a movement, and I believe there's actually a federal bill that, of course, they haven't even discussed yet, but it basically either raises the limit of THC or just takes away the THC limit, as long as, once again, the product that you're making out of it isn't basically CBD or made from the flower. As long as it's not made from the flower, there's zero reason to care about how much THC is in the flower. Once you cut that flower off, the rest of it should just be fair game. And it should be as easy to do for any farmer, once again, as it is to grow soy or cotton, one way or another. And it's not. And that is also setting us back when it comes to grain, which is in high demand, and fiber, which is growing in demand. So, that's the movement that we're really looking for. And what's really interesting is we had to delay the farm bill that we're working on right now. Now there's all these rumors that all these AGs, these attorney generals from all these states are like, the next farm bill, we need to address intoxicating hemp, which is really, it really should be up to the states. We don't. The only thing we need to do in the industrial hemp policies under the farm bill is look to raise the THC. 1% would be so much better, and nobody's going to get high off of 1% flour. We need to get rid of the ban on anyone that has had a federal drug charge. If you've had a federal drug charge, you cannot grow industrial hemp in the United States legally. And they're working on getting rid of that policy, and also expunging a lot of federal drug law or drug arrests right now, which is a big movement, as well as should be. And so, but legally, if you've ever had a federal drug charge, you cannot be a hemp farmer, which once again is ridiculous. I mean, I'm pretty sure that if you had a federal drug charge, you could grow corn, you could grow soy, you could grow any other agriculturally approved crop in the United States. And so once again, they kind of demonizes it. It makes it look like it's a criminal activity when it's not. It's not a criminal activity in any shape, form, or way, one way or another. All right, I found some really fun products this week. So we're going to end the show showing some really fun products. This first one here is Adidas. And of course, Adidas has made a lot of, this is the hoodie. Adidas has made a lot of hemp shoes. Oh, I didn't cut that picture down any. But they're making this hoodie, and I believe the pants out of hemp. And what's really cool, and you can't really see it, but that green line and it runs all the way like around the collar of the shirt. It just says hemp all the way around it. Hemp, 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 hemp. And so they're clearly telling you as well. And I do have a Adidas hemp hat that I've had for years and years and years. And so seeing them get kind of into the clothing part of it and using hemp in the clothing is great, because they use a lot of it in their shoes. Again, the most amount of hemp shoes that I have are Adidas. I'm gonna have to do a count and do a list of how many pairs of different kinds of hemp shoes that I have and who made them. But I know for a fact that Adidas is going to win, because I have at least 10 or 15 pairs of hemp Adidas going back to shortly after we opened in 1995, when they released the super modified hemp shoes. And I have those, I believe, in at least 3 different. That's a shell toe. And then they've made everything since. They've made a Samba, they've made Dakotas, they've made almost every version of their Adidas shoes out of hemp as well. So Adidas getting into the apparel game when it comes to hemp is great. But guess what that means? We need to grow more hemp for fiber, so we can make more clothing out of hemp. Puma. I know I just showed some Pumas. These are a little different. But this is a new hemp Puma that's out there, and I like the looks of these. They come in this green natural colorway. They also have a natural with like a dark brown stripe, and then they're also doing a black with a natural stripe. And so they're making these Pumas and I might have shown actually the natural with the brown not too long ago. I don't remember if these were the exact ones. But I do love that they're kind of taking a cue from Adidas, or maybe not, I don't know. But by putting a little hemp tag on there, because most of the Adidas that I have actually do have like a little tag on them that say hemp, bragging about the fact that they're made out of hemp. And I love the idea of bragging about anything made out of hemp. I'd wear hemp shirts that had like flashing hemp lights. It said, "My shirt is made out of hemp," if I could. And so those are, and I like them. I like these Pumas. That's a good looking shoe, honestly. Here is an interesting shoe. Okay, this is by a company called Foot Hemp. Okay, these are vegan. Okay, they come in this green, and then they also have like a navy, real dark blue version of these. Now, the most interesting thing, and I guess this would only make sense, and it does look like a shoe you would wear with no socks, but they're claiming, and this is probably true, that they are the first shoe to have a CBD infused insole. So, how long that lasts or how long that's effective, I don't know. Now, that's only going to add relief to your feet. So if you do have, like, say, maybe arthritic feet or soreness in your feet, then I could see how maybe that would help. But again, it's only going to really, really help the sole and maybe the toes a little bit, because it's only going to absorb into the bottom of your foot. And again, it does stay there. It doesn't get into the blood system. So anywhere you use CBD topically, it stays where you put it, because the molecules are too large to actually be absorbed into the bloodstream. And that's why it makes such an effective topical, because you don't lose anything to the area when you use it on any part of your body for whatever reason. And again, a third probably of our customers that use our products or the products that we sell, they use it for its anti-inflammation properties. We have a cream that I cannot keep in stock because it works so well. We have, we have hundreds of customers that they would kill me, and I've read their eyes when we run out, saying, "How dare you?" Because the topical is so very effective for them in doing what they needed or wanted to do. And so If you have an issue with sore feet, soles or toes, maybe, then this kind of makes sense. But I go back and forth with the CBD infused clothing. Um, but I do think like workout gear, for as long as it may last, that does make sense. Again, if you've got CBD running all through your workout pants or your workout shirt, then again, that's going to be uh, helpful topically for your muscles and soreness and inflammation and whatnot. So um, that is an interesting one. But again, the whole shoe is vegan. The top part is all made out of hemp, and so even if that CBD part doesn't even really benefit you, it's still a pair of vegan shoes. And if you're a vegan, your choices of shoes are not real huge. And so anytime that we can add vegan shoes to the lineup, you're benefiting a lot of humans that are vegans. A vegan doesn't want to wear animal on its feet any more than it wants to eat animals. They want their clothing to be vegan if it can be. Um, and so shoes are the big one, only because I believe the glues and maybe the soles um, are maybe harder to make vegan. Jeans or shirts. Cotton is vegan. Hemp is vegan. All the materials, flax, bamboo, even synthetic, I suppose, could be considered vegan because it's just made out of oil. Um, and so clothing is not as hard to say is vegan, but shoes are very difficult. I know Saucony is probably the other. Saucony is the major brand that I know of that actually makes a line of vegan shoes, and of course they use hemp in their uppers in their vegan shoes because that just is a durability and an environmental um, reason to do that. And the vegans are concerned about animal welfare as much as most vegans are pretty earth friendly. I believe. I think I'm not saying all vegans are earth friendly, but I would say, knowing most of the vegans that I know, they're pretty earth friendly, one way or another. Um, how about this fun little hemp composite soap dish? This is kind of fun. And again, in the middle there, it does say Earth Made. I feel like that this, I think it was on Etsy, which leads me to believe that it is probably 3D printed. Um, but once again, should be biodegradable. So once you're finally done with it, you chuck it in the yard, let it break down, or feel good that if you ever do throw it in the trash, that once again it'll break down at the landfill and go away naturally. But I love my hemp composites. So finding interesting products made out of hemp composite is pretty cool, pretty cool. And this week, the two hemp composites that I'm showing just happen to be soap related, which it's just this is how it works sometimes. Because this next one is actually it's called Jack 59. The company that made it is called Jack 59, and it's a shower container. And again, it's just meant to like sit on your shower rack or whatever. But it opens up, and then you have to put round soap in it, which I think is interesting. And I didn't see like a bar soap shaped one, which you would think they would make. Um, but this one is made out of hemp composite. It's round, so you'd have to use a round soap in it. And then again, it's got little vents in the bottom, so it drains the moisture off, and then keeps your soap nice and contained. And I guess in all honesty, this would be a good one for traveling. I used to have to take to camp and travel, whatever. A plastic closing box to put my soap in. And so to be able to make something out of hemp composite for traveling. When you want to travel with your hemp soap, you want to take your hemp soap with you and your hemp composite. That's a great product. So I look forward to seeing a square, like a bar soap shaped. You can put standard in just about any bar soap in, kind of same idea. Because then I would in fact travel with my hemp soap. Um, now I probably have to throw it in a Ziploc bag. I don't have any type of hemp container that I know of. I'm gonna have to think about that as far as a composite goes. That would keep my hemp soap. I guess our little folding things, but it'd have to be like little bars of soap, which would be fine. Maybe I just got to break my hemp soap into pieces and put it in there, and then travel with it one way or another. So I guess I do kind of have something that I could travel with hemp soap in, as long as it's small enough, one way or another. All right, we don't have a whole lot of events going on. But if you're out anywhere near Oregon State University tomorrow through Sunday. So the 4th Saturday. Is that right? No, the Sunday. The 4th through the 7th, there is a hempcrete certification class going on at Oregon State University. So if you're anywhere out in the Oregon area, or you just want to get there by tomorrow, you can get hempcrete certified. And I'm gonna try to find more of these, because more of these are popping up. There are plenty of hempcrete workshops that are popping up, or are probably going to be going on this summer. So I'll try to find as many of those as I can, because once again the demand and the want, which is I guess the same thing, to grow or to build with or use hempcrete is once again exponentially growing every day. And then the big one's April 11th through the 13th. So next week, Thursday through Saturday. I think, yes, that's the way those dates work out. Is NOCO. And again, NOCO out in Estes Park, Colorado, is the largest hemp expo that you will find anywhere in the entire world. It is all things hemp, education, panels, products. Hopefully they still do a fashion show. All those things exist at NOCO. And Estes Park, is beautiful. It's kind of up in the mountains a little bit, and just a beautiful place to go to, one way or another. When you're out there, you can enjoy that nature as you're enjoying all the hemp products that exist. All right. Well, that about wraps it up for this week's High Noon Hemp Show. I don't want to talk too much, but next week is going to be the Beach Birthday Hemp Show. The next week's High Noon Hemp Show is going to occur on my born date. Speaking of that, again, I've been referencing, so Earth Day obviously is the 22nd. Okay. And now this year, Arbor Day, and Arbor Day used to be in the fall, is the 27th. So like that week, and I'm seeing what's interesting. A lot of Earth Days are actually going to be celebrated on 420, which is awesome. Again, that's like a dual holiday for me, to celebrate 420 and Earth Day on the same day. I do believe I am going to go to the Earth Day event down at Smale Park on the 20th, and then also probably go to the 420 event. I'll talk more about that up on Short Vine possibly, but I will definitely be going to Summit Park's Earth Day here in Cincinnati. I used to participate in that Earth Day that's put on by the Earth Day Coalition when it was downtown. It's been moved up to Summit. And I actually did my hemp keynote one year at Summit Park, which was kind of nice. But they haven't, I don't know if they've tried to reach out to me or not. But I haven't heard anything from them, but I would have loved to have worked out, doing my hemp keynote at Earth Day at Summer Park one way or another. But that's on the 27th. So plenty of time between now and then. If you're here in the greater Cincinnati area, we can double down on our Earth Day celebrations. Celebrated both on the 20th, and of course we'll celebrate here on the 22nd. We do our Earth Day or our 420 to Earth Day sale, and then we also get to celebrate it on the 27th. And so, and of course, it goes without saying that we celebrate Earth Day every freaking day. Okay, that is one thing that Hemptations can clearly brag about, being open 7 days a week, is that we celebrate Earth Day every single day by having the largest selection of hemp on the planet. I still believe there's nowhere else you can go in any store anywhere else, and I haven't had anybody prove me wrong yet, and I've been saying it for 10 or 15 years at least, that we carry the largest selection of hemp on the planet. All right, folks, thanks for watching. If you're watching live, we appreciate it. If you're watching later, we appreciate it. Spread the word about the High Noon Hemp Show. Get your friends involved. Get the world involved. Everybody needs to know as much as they can about hemp so that we can continue to promote it and grow it and have it accessible to all humans. And then the planet will breathe so much easier. Clean water, clean air, clean soil. That's what hemp can give us. It's a proven fact. It's a proven fact that hemp can give us all of those things. And so remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having Hemptations.
See you all next week.